Yo, what is good, everybody? This is, of course, ExactoKnife. Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic day today. Hope this video finds you doing well. I'm in the building. All my gang know to drop the like and watch or tab the entire video. Helps me get recommended, helps the channel grow. Thank you, everybody, for all your support. And, of course, we are back with the second episode of Specialist Badges. This is where I don't not only explain to y'all what each badge does for each playstyle and help y'all make y'all own decisions rather than just telling you what to use, because everybody's build is different, everybody's playstyle is different. So your own judgment and becoming better at understanding the game is the key, because I know a lot of people are new to the game, so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach people, and because I play these positions, I play all positions in the game, but especially positions like backside defender and lockdown and things of that nature. I know how to do them so well that I can really give you the ins and outs and help you get better. But yeah, this is not necessarily a ranking. This is just an explanation as well as how this pertains to playing that specific role on the court. Obviously, with any badge, you can run it on any tier that you want or that you find helpful. If you disagree, feel free to tell me so I can maybe learn something myself, or so you can learn something yourself as well. And if you agree, let me know what type of position y'all be playing in 2K22. But let's get into it. And to explain the tiers, of course, it's going to be, as always, required tier is badges you are required to have on, at least on something, and usually a high tier, to play this position effectively. Necessary is badges that might not fit your playstyle, but most or almost all of them you're going to want to have if you're playing this position. Helpful, these are situational badges that do a great job at doing a certain task, but they might not always need to be equipped and might not need to be equipped for all players. Surplus badges is badges that you put on if you have a lot of badge points, and badges that just might have a very effect. Like, all badges in the game are good and having I mean, if I could have every badge Hall of Fame, I would in that sense. But these are badges that you want to run if you have the option to, or if you really need that specific action for a specific playstyle. And as you see in the not useful, we only got one badge for centers, which is obviously pick dodger. If you're a backside defender, which is somebody that's a big or defending the pick and roll from the back or guarding the other team's biggest player, whatever you want to call it, for a center's defensive badge, pick dodger is the most useless badge you can ever put on, bro. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't do anything. You should never, ever be fighting a screen. And even if you are, I don't even think pick dodger will help you, bro. Whatever level you have it on. I know some centers have it high because y'all are short. Some centers barely even have it at all, if they have it at all, if they're really tall. So do not run this badge ever on a center. Alright, now on to the surplus tier. With the surplus tier and with all other tiers that have multiple badges in them, the badges toward the left of the tier list thingy is going to be badges that are a little bit better in that category. Badges toward the right are going to be a little worse, but they're all like close together. So, you know what I'm saying? They're hence why they're in the same tier. So defensive leader gives you +1, +2, +3, or +4 depending on the tier. And at level Hall of Fame, it will let you see other teams' percentages and stuff like that. This badge is only useful in 5v5 and only if you have like 40+ defensive badge points on a center or something like that. As the lockdown or as somebody actively guarding ball, you never want to run this because there's so many badges you already need to perform that action that you don't got the flexibility to run defensive leader. And very few players have defensive leader available for cheap. Most players have it cost 7 or 6 badge points. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think I haven't seen a build that gets it for 5 defensive badge points on Hall of Fame. If y'all have a build like that, I would love to see it, man. That's got to be a crazy build right there. You probably can guard the paint, the perimeter, everything, because it's linked to perimeter and paint defense. Alright, pickpocket obviously on the center. They did bring back the steals a little bit after the patch we had at the start of season 2, but there's still nothing like they should be when you're going against people with a low ball control. So I would not run this. Like, you're gonna get blitzes without pickpocket. It doesn't really help blitzes, which is the only time you're gonna be getting steals on a center. All the centers I play with get mad blitzes when they're in proper position, and they never run this badge. Worm. Now, this badge for some people is required or necessary. So if you're a tall center, if you're somebody that really knows how to use this badge, really knows how to worm people out the way and push them out the way, and you have the right build for it, yeah, definitely use it. But it's still not something you're gonna prioritize over anything higher on the list for any given playstyle. So run it if you like it. I will say this badge is good in the right hands, but it's very hard to activate, and has very small applications, and very rarely does it trigger. Off-ball pest. For a center, you don't want to be relying on having body bumps on the players that are backdooring you, because chances are any player that backdoors you is going to be faster than you or bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to You have to just beat them to the spot as they center you, the last line of defense. And if you're really struggling to defend people off the ball, you're giving up position and you're not playing the position correctly. You got to be in position for the board, in position for the box out at all times on defense, unless you're hedging up or defending a perimeter threat actively. Ankle braces, while this badge does help against tie handles and stuff like that, most centers don't have the badge points to run this on any significant tier, and I do not recommend running it unless, like I said, you have so many badges that you don't know what to do with them. Because yes, ankle breakers and tight handles and stuff like that will be annoying on the Switch, but I'm not gonna lie to you, you can get no ankle breakers. I've seen in wagers and tournaments, etc. There's no tight handles or ankle breaking badges at all, and not even no mismatch expert. So the centers are supposed to be guarding everyone with ease, and the guards are just so fast that if a guard knows what he's doing, he will outrun you. And especially if you're on current gen, you're gonna be sliding all over the place. Ankle braces is completely useless. Now up next, we got the helpful tier. In the helpful tier on the left side, as you'll see, pogo stick, ball strip, and post move lockdown. Those are all different approaches and different tools for you dealing with interior scoring threats, particularly usually back to the basket threats like post scores or just tall paint mashing centers. And on the right side, I'm sorry, you see menace and tireless defender, which are just good glue defensive badges. Tireless defender helps you lose less stamina. Run it on bronze or silver on a big. If you're hedging, especially if you're a little bit slower, you're going to be exerting more stamina. It'll prevent your speed and your attributes from dropping as your stamina decreases within the defensive possession. Menace, I know a lot of centers don't get it super high. If you are a center that gets it high, run it high, because then you can guard the ISO and guard the switches way better. It'll just drop the opponent's attributes a little bit, make them a little more slower, a little more contestable, a little drop their 3-point a little bit, maybe they'll hit less contests on you. It's not the most overpowered badge, but it does its job. It's, you know what I'm saying, it's literally a middle of the pack badge. Post move lockdown, it'll help you strip people off of drop steps and spins. It'll also help drop steps and spins be way less effective. If you're, like I said, obviously if you're playing the threes as a small center, there's no point of running this because you shouldn't be losing to a post score or even having a close game of someone that's taking bad contested twos. But if you're playing rec 2v2, this badge is very, very important, bro. Even centers that aren't post scorers, they can drop step you. Like, they can make stupid stuff in the paint without even a high standing layup, because standing layups are so good. So keep that badge on if you're at a threat of losing to somebody that's gonna take twos the whole game. That's the way I would put that. Ball stripper, I've actually used this on bronze in my center for 60 steal. Works phenomenal. If you have a higher steal, it'll be even better. Now, I don't recommend putting this badge too high, but ball stripper will do a great job if you're not even wanting to jump at all or play hands up defense. You just want to go straight up for the steal. It will work. It'll work a lot at stopping post scores, slashers, people that paint mash and pump fake. When they pump fake, you can rip the ball out of their hand, especially if their ball control is not high. The badge works pretty well when you're standing in the paint. But if you are running ball stripper, I will say, like, even though I said don't run pickpocket on the center, if you run ball stripper, a bronze pickpocket does increase those chances of a ball stripper animation as well. So keep that in mind. Pogo stick is a badge for jumping up and down. It's not as strong as it needs to be to counter Hall of Fame fast twitch, or even just no fast twitch and people pump faking in the paint. But if you know how to use this correctly, if you don't spam it, if you just use that as a tool, like, okay, I jumped, now I'm gonna jump one more time really quick, or to help you get a board, it's a useful badge for especially undersized bigs, because if you're really tall, you shouldn't be jumping, but it can help everyone out. I personally have never used that on any of my bigs because I like to jump once when I read the play, and I don't like to be caught jumping in the air because it's a bad habit for me personally. But I know for a lot of people this badge is very effective, and the fact that it helps on rebounds as well after getting a shot contest is a great bonus. Now we're on to the great badges. So these are badges that almost all of them you should have at all times on a pretty high tier. And these badges are going to be clamps, interceptor, chase down, and brick wall. Now, I know a lot of centers probably don't get a super high interceptor. Some of y'all do. And a lot of centers don't get a super high clamps. Some of y'all do. Most centers should have a high chase down, because a high chase down is a significance of a high block, and you should have a high block in the center. Now, do I recommend running a chase down at the highest tier? No, I do not. Do I recommend running interceptor at the highest tier? Absolutely. Run it as high as you can in the center, because that is how you get stops in the pick and roll, on the wraps, baiting people out the corner if you're playing against ISO. It's a great way to keep yourself involved. Also, I tell lockdowns to run this badge because it's a great way to keep yourself involved in the defense when you're not actively guarding somebody, or when your player is just sitting in the corner on the hash, or just wherever you're guarding somebody. You know what I'm saying? It just helps you cover more ground and defend more people on the court with your, especially with a center, you have long arms, you should be able to be assertive in the lanes. Brick wall will not be effective for every play style, but it does work like moving truck to once again push post scorers out the paint or prevent people from backing you down the paint easy. A lot of people will paint mash, but they don't have a very high strength. So if you have this badge on and you have a pretty decently high strength player, it'll take them a while and they'll waste a lot of their stamina while they're backing you down. It's definitely a tough badge for more than just setting screens, but if you're setting screens, obviously it's a required badge. But you know what I'm saying, but a lot of people don't get it super high. If you get it high, put it as high as you can. It's amazing. Clamps, a lot of centers don't get it high, like I said, but you want to run at the highest tier you can because that's your body bumps. When you go against the slasher or the other big, try splitting the defense, go into the basket. That's how you cut them off. That's how you try to defend these small, fast guards by trying to get body bumps on them. It's a badge that you absolutely need on a center in order to guard anybody but a center, pretty much. And now, of course, we got the required badges. All these badges should be equipped and close to a max tier on everyone that's a center of any sort or anyone that's guarding any sort of backside. So the 3 badges here, I would say that put him on the highest tier no matter what is going to be rebound, intimidator, and rim. And box and hustler are good on any tier that you want to run them, but I feel like gold to silver is a nice sweet spot if you're trying to save some badges for some other badges that down below that you might feel fits your playstyle more, but they are all effective on every single tier. These badges are balanced. You see equal increases based on what tier you run them on. They're all relevant to the playstyle. Rim protector, obviously, it greatly increases your chance of blocks, gives you grab blocks, gives you more takeover, gives your teammates takeover for getting blocks. Hustler makes you run like a crack addict after the basketball. When anytime there's a loose ball or a rebound or anything, this badge will single-handedly win you games in 2K22 if you're a big. If you know when to jump and when to run for the board, I promise you will win games with that. And say thank you to me when you do. Intimidator makes people miss dunks, makes people miss layups. As a center, you don't have a high menace usually. You should have a high intimidator, a very high gold or Hall of Fame at the you know what I'm saying, for 90% of centers. With your block rating, this badge will make people miss on the perimeter. It'll give people fluky contests. It'll make people less effective at post scoring you, etc. You gotta run this badge as high as you can. It's a glue defensive badge. It's as close as we can get to defensive stopper. Box, it will not only do a job similar to Worm where it'll push people out the way aggressively, but it'll also prevent you from being pushed out the way. So the higher the box, like I've seen people with Hall of Fame box, they just go bow, they just push somebody all the way out the way and they don't even have Worm equipped. Like, and at the same time they're always holding down the box out. They're gonna just like get magnetized into good board position. This badge is amazing. It does a great job and it works in tandem with Rebound Chaser, which is not as good as Hustler in terms of making you run faster after the ball, but it's amazing at making you jump vertically and get good board animations, making you run out the corner, and if you do jump instead, in combination with Hustler, it is just crazy, bro. I'd be getting my butt saved by some of the bigs that I play with when somebody on my team bricks or I brick when I'm playing guard, and they just run out the corner just over the whole team. Just Statue of Liberty, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell looking ass, just grabbing the ball out of the air, out of the opponent's hands. If you can get this badge, at least on gold, that's amazing. If you can get it on Hall of Fame, oh my goodness, bro. This badge on Hall of Fame makes you an absolute force on the basketball court. I've never seen rebound. I mean, you could say like in the past 2Ks back when it was Hustle Rebounder and only certain people got this badge. It was overpowered because a lot of people that weren't even glass cleaners or didn't have glass cleaner to build didn't even get it above like bronze or silver. But nowadays, even when you go against somebody with gold Rebound Chaser, Hall of Fame Rebound Chaser is noticeable. Badge is amazing. Y'all check it out. But like I said, man, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you, everybody, for the love. Grind does not stop. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace out.